Our next speaker will be Palikapu Dedman. He came all the way over from Hilo to join us. He's with a group that I hadn't really been familiar with before and saw online, and it's Ohana Opakele? Okay, and it's very impressive. Go to their website and find out, sign some of their things, get in touch, and keep in contact with this group, because they're doing some tremendous things that are already changing some things in prison, even though it goes very slowly. Palikapu.
Uncle Joe is part of our ohana on the Big Island. We're trying to set something up for every island to be almost on what we're looking at as a uhonua. It's more or less a Hawaiian concept, alternative to prisons, because uhonua is a healing concept. It doesn't fit in prisons. Prisons is punishment, so it's a different idea on how we look at ourselves as Hawaiians. We can talk a lot about what happens after the problem, and what we are is coming out of prison, because Hawaiians are the most going back than any other race. In the 6,000 prisons that you heard Pat mention, 4,000 are part Hawaiians. So there's a big problem with racism in Hawaii on how the police and how the judicial system looks and treats Native Hawaiians. Hawaiians can commit the same crime as other races, and they'll do more time for that, and they'll return to prison faster. So there's a problem, and it's been overlooked, I think, with this whole, maybe it's part of the planned genocide, the whole idea of colonialism. You got a place where a race of people doesn't destine their own future anymore. So this race of people has been forcefully have to assimilate to what is being proposed to them, whether they like it or not. So in the whole process, you have the Hawaiians that haves and the Hawaiians that have nots. And they've been treating us like that for a long time. Being part of watching society throughout the other 49 states, watching how racism is a big problem with a minority race, as we are here. So seeing that 49, I mean, what makes it new for me in a 50 state? I see all the problems in the other 49, how they treat people, poor people, people of color. And in Hawaii, because of its history, that hasn't never let go. I mean, that plantation mentality has never left us. We local people don't bite the hands that feed you. We don't want to complain to our boss. We just end up becoming part of the social problems because we can't deal with who we're going to talk to about it and how we're treating about it. Think about a race of people here, Hawaiians, where you can dig up their bones, take their land, run their water, have people all living richly on the beaches. They don't live there no more. They're in the parks. I mean, you see it all around you every day. Anybody paying attention? Not even our trusts are paying attention. The most wealthiest trusts we have don't pay attention to its people. Their missions, as well as Hawaiian Homes, has been around for how long? When did they create these? Early 1900s? So you got this mentality creating these programs and these missions for trusts that were done way back in the 1800s, early 19, this is 2014. I mean, stats, you got all you want, history, you got all of that, records, all of that. What more evidence do you need that the Hawaiians have been the most neglected and the most incarcerated and the most in prison today, and yet they're number 5 under the Filipinos? There's more Filipinos than the Hawaiians now. So what happens there? So when we say we want to take care of ourselves, we got a lot of resistance. Resistance from who? Who wants to be a resistant from Hawaiians taking care of themselves because they're the number one locked up in prison today? What's wrong with us taking care of selves? You had a couple 100 years of everybody else to do that. We show track record, it hasn't worked. And now my misery becomes a commodity? You make $40,000 off of my misery? I steal a $10,000 car, I get 5 years. That's $200, $250,000 for 5 years at 40 a head? For a $10,000 car? Or just think about who's getting ripped off here. And why can't we Hawaiians take care of ourselves? Abercrombie signed something, Act 117, that we're supposed to be working on uhonuas. But he was so pushy for his election that he pushed Kulani Camp as fast as he could to see if that would get him votes. And what did it bring back? 20 prisoners? And even there, no visits. That's a camp. Kulani Camp, 200 prisoners, 98 people on staff. That's 2 prisoners per. Is that a camp? Sound like Folsom. The treatment, the bullshit. So anyway, I'm just saying that the Public Safety Department has been making a living off the misery of Hawaiians for decades. That's got to stop and it's got to be addressed. And if it's for us running our own prisons, taking care of our own selves for a different concept, then that's what we want to do. The puhonua isn't just for you to come there and relax and dance or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. It's about treating a little bit of integrity and putting it back in a person that's been stripped down for I don't know how many years. It's about instilling some kind of manhood back in a person who's got more responsibility going back out of jail than he went before he went in. The puhonua is about giving him something, creating something in there that can be sold and bought by the public or by the state. From the culinary department all the way down to the ag and to assembling solar water heaters at $10 an hour is what we wanted to do. For his last year, he'd probably get out with 10 grand in his pocket. That's better than an orange box with just T-shirts and shorts. We got a petition in the back too we can sign. Aloha.